Hi, I'm Brian Thomas and I'm an advanced driving tutor. I hope you'll find the upcoming clip helpful. Lots of people find though the best way for them to gain confidence and feel much safer driving on the left side is to do a couple of actual driving sessions with me. Places are limited, so why don't you call me today? Hi, Brian Thomas from US Drive UK. Good morning. Beautiful sunny crisp winter's morning. The temperature currently showing on the car is about -4, so I've had to scrape all the ice off the windscreen this morning and the other glass as well. Tells me it's really cold. Before I go out and do anything else, it's certainly below freezing even if I didn't have a temperature gauge on the car. So we're going to have a chat this morning about really looking at the road surface and trying to work out if it's been treated or it's icy, or the kind of things that you might need to have a look at this time of year. And one of the important things, first of all, is making sure you don't go off down the road not being able to see through the windscreen. So we're not having any of these little bit of letterbox that you peer through, because that's the only bit you've scraped off the ice. Just doesn't work. Got to look at giving yourself the maximum amount of visibility, and it's so important where the roads could be icy, because you're looking at taking about 10 times the normal distance that you will need to stop if the road is icy under your tyres. It's as simple as that. And you know, you can't necessarily see what's coming down the road if you haven't scraped all the ice off the windscreen. So that's definitely the first thing to do, and it's not going to help you if you haven't done that. Okay, so what we're looking at is the road surface. So we're just going to drive around a little bit. Essentially, these days the local authorities are really good. Most of the major routes are usually going to be treated. How can we tell if a road has been treated or not? Really just by looking at it in a lot of cases. When the road is treated, from the back of a lorry, they spray a solution onto the road which is basically salt, and I guess very other chemicals. I'm not really an expert, but what it does, it lowers the temperature at which the road freezes. So it tends to attract the moisture on the road as well, which is why roads that have been treated usually look wet. So they look a bit dark, they look a bit shiny. What we've got to remember though is that's no guarantee, okay? But it tends to be that if a road is icy, you'll probably see the ice, or you'll see some frost over it, or it could just be clear water on the road surface, in which case it will look wet but it'll be sheet ice. So really what we're thinking of here is it doesn't really matter if the temperature's below freezing. Then you've got to bear in mind that any bit of road that you drive over is likely to be icy. What other ways can we check as well? If you're driving down the road and you've got a beautiful verge at the side of the road with frozen puddles that's covered in frost, then yeah, the road surface is like to be at 0 or below. We might be able to see this coming up shortly. It's kind of starting to go, because that's the other thing here, we've got sun on this particular stretch of road. So the sun, where it goes on the road, is obviously going to heat up the road, and it's also going to melt the frost. So what we need to be thinking of, there's a patch of white frost there. What we need to be thinking of is, what can we see? And here's a shady bit. So you can now see as we're driving into the shade how white the sides of the road are. So this is what we call a microclimate. Although the temperature on my car is now showing 1 degree, it clearly isn't 1 degree at the road surface, because we've got thick white frost over the trees and basically it's in the shade. So don't be fooled into thinking because the sun's come out and it feels warm behind glass that the road surface is going to be free from ice. Far from it. This is actually a road that's fairly likely to have been treated, and again does look quite wet. Other things you can look at: if the road looks wet and you're following a car and you can't see any spray coming up from the tyres, then although it looks wet, it isn't, and it's likely to be icy. So all these kind of little clues about the road surface are things that you can actually use. So again, country roads, just to recap, if you've got a shady area, it's likely the road is going to be icy because it's a microclimate, and these are all the things that we can look at. We can see where these shady areas are. So we're coming up into the village of Holywell Row. Okay, you can see here an example of where the road looks a bit wet in places, and you can see the dry bits at the side of the road. Going to check my mirrors here because I've got a guy that's travelling really quite close behind, so I'm going to get a signal early to give him lots of warning. So I've got one coming here, so I'm going to wait for him. So a slightly more minor road here through the village of Holywell Row. Isn't necessarily a road that you might anticipate would have been treated, but I think also it's a bus route. The general indication is where there's a bus route and you can see all the bus stops, there's a good likelihood that they're going to treat that road surface. But again, not a given, you can't be absolutely sure of that. Again, shady bits here, you can see the frost on the corners where the sun hasn't reached it, and if you look at the other side of the road, you can see all green, so the sun's been on that side. So again, all the frost in the shade on the left side, right side where the sun's on it, bright green. Look at the difference between the two sides of the road. That's where your ice and your frost is going to be. So we're coming down a single carriageway road here, which is actually a two-way road, but it is in places, it's single track with kind of passing places. So although we're talking particularly about ice on the roads here, it's well worth mentioning, normally you need to stop in the distance you can see to be clear, but like with that guy that was coming towards us there, it's a single carriageway. People don't always expect, because they use this road day after day, they don't always expect that something's there. So here's an example here, the shadings here, and it's actually thick white frost on both sides of the road. So if we move down here, which is literally about 2 foot, 3 foot further along the road, perhaps a bit more, complete grass, because that's in the sun. So that's the difference between where the ice could be and where it isn't. So really good things there to look out for. And bearing in mind, if you have to stop on ice, it's 10 times the amount of stopping distance that you need. So it's really, really vital to do those checks. Just read the road, look where the ice is likely to be. So we've got a car coming towards us, so I'm going to just nip onto the side here as a passing place, just to let them go past. So basically, because it's a single carriageway road, you need to be travelling a lot slower down here perhaps 20 miles an hour in places, because you always need to stop in the distance you can see to be clear. And because it's a single carriageway road, like we saw with the blue car that came towards us earlier, you need to stop. You have to allow for the stopping distance of the other car as well, so it gives them time to stop. If you're going through at the same speed that the other car was, or if I was going through at the same speed as that other car, we'd have met very quickly, and could have been quite nasty really. Even on a road like this, you can still have quite a big crash. Well, crashes hurt, they cost you money, you just don't need them really. And the other sort of things you like to meet on a road like this around the corner is horses. Yeah, there could be kids playing, could be all sorts of things around the corner. So the normal rules apply. You need to always stop in the distance you can see that's clear. And the interesting thing about this road surface, it's quite white. So that's not white through frost, it's a normal colour. So if you have a look at the road we've just been along, which looks completely dry, you can't really see where the frost is. So this road, as we're coming out to it, has been treated. Look at how much wetter it seems, and look at the difference between the road surface that we've just been along. So I'm just going to demonstrate that again. Going to turn back into the road we've just come out of, and look at the difference in the road surface there. The one we've just been on is black, and that one is completely dry. So the temperature of that road, the point at which the ice freezes, hasn't been reduced. So we're going to go back onto this road here. So we're going to, again, it's a black and shiny road, so it's damp, good indication it's been treated, but I can't tell for sure because we've still got frost in places at the side of the road. Here's a shady area where the frost could be. Lovely corner coming up here. Your limit point is literally the field in front of you, so it's a sharp left turn. Unless you look through the hedges on the left there, you just can't see what's coming up the road. National speed limit section road here, so yeah, fairly sure the road's been treated, but it's all white, so I'm going much slower along here than I'd normally be doing. Another interesting bit about this road, you've got some farm exits and things. There's a lot of agriculture and growing stuff around here, so it means there's a lot of mud on the road. So again, mud's a bit like ice really. It can take up to 10 times the distance you need to stop. Other things you can feel if there's some ice on the road, think about your steering. If your steering wheel and your steering ever goes light, so it feels like you've suddenly got fingertip steering, there's a good indication that the front wheels have lost their grip. So when you drive your car, you get to know it, you get a feeling of how the car normally drives. Anything different that your car does in terms of steering or the feel on the road is telling you something about that road surface. So if I was braking here for this bend and maybe my anti-lock brakes came in and the car was, the front wheels were juddering with the anti-lock braking system, I'd get that vibration through the pedal, and that will be a reminder to me that the road's perhaps a bit greasy or icy and I haven't got good traction on the surface. So again, you approach the bends properly, you're not really going to have those kind of problems. That particular one was a sort of hairpin 90-degree bend, so we're not going to approach that fast anyway, and especially on a day when there could be ice about. Here's some mud on the road surface here. What a fantastic day to go out for a drive. I think people in the UK forget that you can actually have a lot of fun driving, and I think it's a real shame. People in the UK, I think, feel that driving is just increasingly, with the traffic and stuff, people feel that driving is just the means to get from A to B. I think we've always got to remember that driving is actually a privilege and not a right, and if you've got something that's a privilege, don't you think you should be looking to enjoy it? I just love driving. I like driving anything, anywhere. And when you're looking out for all the things you can see on the road to keep you safe, you get more fun out of your driving. If you're just sitting there when you're driving and you're just thinking about where you're going to next and all that kind of stuff, then you're not going to get any joy out of the driving. I hope you feel that this driving in the cold weather, there's been some helpful tips there. If you're at all kind of edgy maybe, or a little bit nervous about driving in the UK, what we do is a 3-hour session where we go out in my car first of all, and we talk about the things really that we've been talking about today. And then once you've got your permit, got your car sorted, we'll go out for a drive with you in your car. So it doesn't matter where you drive to. So if your particular area is, say, sort of Lakenheath to Cambridge, somewhere like that, we can take a run out to where you normally go. And that gives you a chance to kind of see all the things that you're normally going to find on your routes. Things like, if you're going into Cambridge, things like bus lane cameras. I know the hire car companies tell me that they get lots and lots of rental cars coming in with fines for bus lane cameras and things like that. They cost you money. They can cost you anything from £60 to £100 to get a bus lane fine. And what we can do, if you go to an area where there's buses and stuff, will help you get an idea of where those bus lanes are, because you don't really want to be spending money on fines unnecessarily, and that's the kind of stuff we can help you with. And a 3-hour session with me, £95, and that's actually cheaper than one speeding ticket. Yeah, a speeding ticket is £100. What would you rather have? 3 hours of tips on your driving, or pay a speeding ticket? Because then you would have paid out for the speeding ticket and not had 3 hours of tips on your driving. I'm Brian Thomas. Hope it's been fun. I look forward to seeing you very soon.